Hi guys, welcome to another edition of Onside SA, where we can get rolling, and this week is the start of our new Onside. Let's get it right, last one standing. And last week we had two guys who were fighting it out from the last time, and Budge, they both got beat.
Yeah, Henry's a little bit unlucky because he was on Bournemouth and Sheffield United equalised late. You know, I watched the Everton game.
Billy Sharp,
yeah, had a dream apparently.
Yeah, he had a dream he'd score.
Yeah, both the guys drew, but we're going to obviously start this week with the other two guys continue.
Yeah, their teams that they're going to select from.
Yeah, they're limited. Well, this is the 13th week.
Yeah, but they're losing. It's not as if they're 13 winning weeks, you know. So it's Henry Nordy and Bradley Parker fighting it out. Okay, we're going to get our man Stevie B's in the London studio. Steve, you there?
Both.
Stevie, you there?
I'm here. Good morning.
Morning. Good to hear your voice, Steve. All well. And as we say, there's cricket today.
There is. The weather is set fair. Although looking a bit grey and overcast here, but they're expected to get a 4 days playing at Lords. Whether that's good for England or not remains to be seen.
Steve, will they make the time up, or do they just laugh it off otherwise?
They'll try and make a little bit of a time up, but there's a limit to what they can do, having lost a whole day.
Okie dokie. Did you watch a game in the European Super Cup last night?
I did. I was surprised it was a better game than I thought it might be. I quite enjoy. I have to think that the last thing both teams wanted was to play extra time in the heat of Istanbul. Yeah. But it was a good game. They both put out pretty strong teams, and in the end, Liverpool probably just about sort of edged it. But I thought Chelsea played well in patches. I think, considering obviously he's a little bit hamstrung with some of the players he's having to play, but I thought they put up a decent show.
Yeah, I was really impressed with Chelsea. I must say the officials did a good job as well. They implied the rules, especially with the VAR. I thought they did a brilliant job. Yeah,
and obviously it sort of made history that we had for a game of that importance, we had a female referee. But she didn't take any nonsense from the players, and and I think you're right. The only thing is, obviously in Europe, they let the game go on a little bit long before they put the flag up. So you'd obviously had quite a few times players thought they were in, could have scored, and then all of a sudden they look round and the flag sort of goes up late. So, I think that's probably a little bit of frustration. And as one of the commentators said, the last thing that they really need is to be exerting more energy than they need to in that heat. But I think it was a good game, and VAR wasn't too intrusive.
Yeah.
Well, Liverpool have started well. Chelsea have played 2 and lost 2, or drawn 1 and lost.
Yeah.
And they haven't looked bad. I've watched both their games, Steve.
No, well, I thought Pulisic looked pretty lively.
Yeah.
I thought it was a tremendous pass for the Giroud goal, and I think that he's look. We know he played really well in the Bundesliga last year, so obviously he's not Hazard, but I think he'll go some way to filling a bit of a gap there.
Yeah, and I think if the big centre-half Rudiger plays as long as Kante, I still think there'll be a top 4 contender, Steve.
Yeah, I think sort of based on what I thought, and obviously even at Old Trafford for the first hour or so, I thought they were, they more than matched United and probably a bit unlucky. But I think obviously they just got caught out, didn't they? And with that second goal, and that was it. But no, I was pleasantly surprised. I think they've, I think Frank, and he's obviously got these young players. Mason Mount came on last night. Played well, so I think they've got the nucleus of a strong squad without doubt.
Yeah, Steve, the Man City situation. I know I spoke to a couple of Chelsea boys. They weren't happy. They've been given 2 transfer embargoes. How can they just get fined 300,000?
Well, I think when you look at the facts, they're slightly different. I mean, City's was in respect to 2 players who they said only played friendlies, and they basically sort of the minute that they realised that there was an issue, they've said they've been totally compliant. According to FIFA, they were very cooperative. Chelsea is related to something like 29 offences. So I think there was a difference there. But without doubt, there's no question, just fining Man City makes no difference at all. A fine of £300,000 is like, it's a week's wages to one of their players. It's nothing. So, Chelsea are still appealing to the Court of Arbitration. They've missed one transfer window. And the truth is, in January, not a lot happens anyway. So I guess if they're back and able to spend next summer, they'll probably be fine. But I can understand that there's a bit of frustration there, but I think the facts are slightly different in this case.
Steve, first week of the Premiership, VAR decisions. What do you think?
Yeah, well, obviously, look, we had quite a few controversial decisions in the first game, and I think where people are getting a little confused is the ethos behind VAR is it's meant to rectify any clear and obvious errors. Now, except that doesn't apply to offside. So, what they're saying is, when it comes to offside, it's not a case of whether it's clear or obvious. You either are offside or you're not. So when we had the Sterling goal that was given, and then obviously VAR cancelled it, and you looked on the replay, I mean, it was by a hair's breadth. In fact, the pundits were joking that it was just his armpit that was off. But but ultimately, as they say, you either are or you're not. But some of the others are a bit more sort of subjective. So I think we're going to get a few more decisions like that. I mean, as it happened in quite a few games, I saw the stats. There were VAR checks. After every goal and a few other incidents, and there wasn't that much hold-up. It just so happened that I think the bulk of them just happened to be on that first game at the London Stadium.
Yeah, were you surprised there were no penalties or major penalties given by VAR?
Yeah, I think that's going to be the thing.
The Wolves one, they took the goal away.
Yeah, I mean, exactly, and I think that's the frustration. I think players and fans are not going to know when to celebrate. I mean, do you celebrate when you score, or do you celebrate after VAR said it's a goal? So there are teething troubles, and I think the other thing as well is in Europe they interpret the rules slightly differently as well. So.
Stevie, I think it's a good thing. I really believe that we're going to have issues where I'd rather they got 90% right than it's like saying I'd rather 20 guilty people got off than an innocent guy getting laughed.
Yeah, and I think that's right. Look, I mean, the technology is there, so in a sense, the argument is you have to use it. I mean, they obviously brought in the technology with the sort of the ball going over the goal line, and that was a fairly simple technology, but it completely takes out of the game now. Questions whether the ball's over the line or not. You get a beep, the referee gets a beep, and that's it. And we've had lots of instances over the years where teams have thought they scored, or it's been given or not given. So I can understand that. I think the thing that people, that fans want to know is they want to know what's going on, so they want to know if there is a VAR decision being made, and they want it to be made quickly. And I think once they can sort of get to terms with that, I think people will accept it as part of the game.
Yeah. Steve, on to the signings. Another European window is still open. The Neymar situation, what's the latest on that?
Well, it seems to, my understanding is PSG, I think, would prefer to sell him to Real Madrid. The latest I read was that Real have offered sort of cash plus Gareth Bale plus Jaime Rodriguez. I think they wanted another player thrown in, but I suspect. I mean, he's been sort of sent out to train with the reserves. He's not training with the first team, Neymar. Barcelona have offered something like €100 million plus Coutinho. I think Real is the favoured option for PSG, but then it depends on someone like Gareth Bale. Does he want to go? Gareth Bale is going to be frozen out by Zidane, although he did come on and play recently. PSG is probably as good an option as any for him, because I can't believe that he really wanted to go to China.
Even at 600,000 a week?
Well, it's
still.
I mean, the truth is, whether he earns 300,000 a week or 600, it's not going to make any real difference to him. And Paris is a lot nearer to Wales for him to go back and with the family than it is flying back from Shanghai or somewhere. So, I think that one will run. But there's no point PSG keeping Neymar and playing him in the reserves. So I think something will happen there.
And Pogba, you think that's dead and buried?
I think so. I mean, obviously, if Real get Neymar, they're not going to have any. They're not going to be able to go for Pogba. Yeah. I think United have made it pretty clear they're not going to sell him, and I think he'll just get on and get on with the game. Well, I thought he played pretty well second half, particularly last Sunday.
Alexis Sanchez, is he going to be around?
I
can't believe that he won't go, but wherever he goes, Roma wanted him, but I think they pulled out now. But United will have to very heavily subsidise his wages. So whichever Italian club come in for him, and there are a few looking at him, United will be paying more than half his wages, I'm sure, because I think they've made it very clear he's not going to feature in the first team squad as things stand.
Well, we won't talk about Eriksen, otherwise we'll rile Paul.
Yeah, what's the latest? Any talk in the papers? Because we've got to keep him. He turned the game for us.
Well, exactly. He came on at half-time I saw the second half after the Fulham game, and they were a different team with him playing. Look, something has to happen. They can't allow him to get to the end of the window and not sign a new contract. Yeah. So
extended by a year.
Well, they can do a lot. I mean, they've got to offer him more than double what he's getting now. If they offer him a couple of 100,000, he might stay. He did go on record saying he wanted a new challenge. So it depends whether it's about the money or not. But I think the issue is that Real Madrid, he's not their first choice. He really is probably third choice. So if they don't get Pogba, they don't get Neymar, maybe they'll come in for Eriksen. But again, Tottenham don't want to lose him in the last few days of the window, because obviously they can't replace him now.
Yeah, that's true. Talking of Tottenham, how do you think they'll go at Man City tomorrow?
Look, it depends which Tottenham turns up. If it's the Tottenham of the first half, then City are going to win that comfortably. If it's the Tottenham of the second half, I think it'll be a lot closer. I still think City will edge it. I think it's going to be hopefully it'll be a good game. I thought Tottenham played really well in the second half against Fulham. I mean, they just obviously it looked like the goal may or may not come, but once it did, there was no question who was going to win that game. But I think City just looked very, especially the second half at West Ham. They just made it look so easy. I mean, the goals were simple, but they just, and because they haven't changed their team much, they just know, they all know what they're doing. They know what their roles are in the team. So
they could be getting better. They could be getting better, because that's what
well, I think
it looks
again,
like.
I think I said last week that with Budgies that a fit De Bruyne in the team makes a huge difference. He wasn't there for a lot of last season, so they are still the team to beat for me.
Yeah, no doubt. The other team I think that can give them a go is Liverpool. Do you think that game last night will take a lot out of them at Southampton?
I'm sure it will. I mean, obviously winning sort of helps. They're on a high, but it's a trip. I'm sure they didn't really want. They're going to probably have a rest day today. They would have flown back overnight. They've got an extra day to prepare for the game. I think they'll win that. I think Southampton looked fairly poor when I saw the highlights of the game at Burnley. Yeah. They'll give them a good game, but even like last year, Southampton gave Liverpool a good game, but Liverpool just wore them down in the end. Yeah. I think Liverpool will come through on that one.
Do you think Chelsea can get back on the winning tracks at home against Leicester?
A week or two ago, I might have thought that one might be more like a draw. I think Chelsea might do. I think especially with their first home game, and on the way they've played in patches in both the games I've seen, I think they've got enough about them to win that game.
Yeah, I think if Kante and Rudiger, if they still fit, I think.
Yeah, I'm not sure about whether Rudiger's going to be fit, because obviously they still played Zuma and Christensen. But without doubt, when he is fit, Rudiger will come in for Zuma, I suspect. Zuma's still got a mistake or two in him. But I think Kante coming in.
That's been very kind, Steve. He's got a mistake.
And the big game of the weekend, Steve, Man United at Wolves on Monday.
Well, I mean, that was a real banana skin for United last season in both the League and the Cup. I don't think it will be. I think, again, Wolves have got another game tonight in the Europa, although I think they can rest players because they're so far clear. I think that's a game United are going to sort of bounce back. I mean, they didn't play at all well, really, in either game last year. So I can see that being close, either a draw or an away win there.
Okay. I think it's got a draw written all over it.
Let's talk about Steve's league.
All right, Steve, on to the championship. Paul's winding us up about your team, Fulham and mine, Preston. I know you got back to winning. Big game for you, Huddersfield, on Friday night. It
is, and the Huddersfield manager, Jan Seward, is under huge pressure. I mean, the fans don't like him. They don't like his tactics. They got booed off on Tuesday night. They lost at home to Lincoln in the Carabao Cup. But for us, I mean, this is the big game. I mean, I think we didn't play well at Barnsley. We played a lot better in patches last Saturday. We brought in some good players in the window last week. I think we've got to go and target that. They're under pressure, Huddersfield. Inexplicably, they loaned out their playmaker, Aaron Moy.
Yeah, he went to Brighton.
Fans are very upset about that. So, I think this is an opportunity for us to go and get 3 points.
Yeah, no, I agree. I saw there was a documentary on that guy, Seward. I don't know where he came from. Is he a Danish guy?
Seward.
He's a Dane, isn't he, that Seward?
Yeah, but so, I mean, he was, it just came out of left field when they appointed him, but the fans really aren't happy, and I sort of looked at their sort of fans forum this week, and they just seem to think that, he should have gone after Tuesday, but if they lose, or they lose badly on Friday, that could be it, and they should make the change. I mean, obviously there are managers out there, whether they go, but you've got, the Chris Hutons, Slavica Jokanovic, these sort of managers are out there who know the Championship well. So we'll see. But then in true Fulham style, we seem to do badly sometimes against teams that are on a bad run. So anything could happen. But I'd be disappointed if we didn't get a result there.
All right. Notts Forest, Birmingham, Steve.
I thought Forest, did really well to come back after their home defeat to West Brom to get a point at Ellen Road. I think that they could. Birmingham, to me, I mean, they won at Brentford, but by the sounds of it, they just had one shot on target and won it. I think Forest might be too strong for them.
Okay, can West Brom get back to winning ways?
Yeah, I mean, again, we said that they're often sort of better away. They were superb at Forest. Yet here they are. They slipped up twice against Millwall, once in the league and then lost at home in the cup. I think they will do. They won't have goals in them, but I think West Brom will just be too strong.
Okay, and Leeds United?
Yeah, I think Leeds will go to Wigan and win. Again, I was surprised they were held by Forest, but to me, they're still. You can see why the bookies have got them as favourites. They've got a lot of pace in the team. The nucleus of the team hasn't changed much. They brought in Eddie Nketiah from Arsenal, who was a good young player, came on and scored on his debut during the week at Salford. I think Leeds will be too strong.
Okay, and last but not least, Steve, can Cardiff City go to Reading and win on Sunday?
Yeah, I think they can. I think that's going to be a close game. I mean, Reading have had a pretty poor start, lost both their league games. I think that's going to be tight. I think that'll either be a draw or an away win.
Excellent, Stevie. Fantastic. Keep the news coming in. Wonderful to get all the updates. You're got your finger on the pulse, and thanks very much.
Pleasure.
Last but not least, Steve, last one standing. You can send me a pick a little bit later.
Yeah, I'll put your money in. You're in. Try go 3 rounds.
Well, as I say, if I can get past 2 rounds, I've done well. I mean, your guys who did 11 weeks, I mean, that's nirvana, isn't it? So I'm going to go for the Arsenal. I just have a feeling that they're going to win that game on against Burnley.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So keeping my powder dry for the big guns.
Lovely.
All right, Steve. Good luck.
Thank you. All right.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye-bye. Right, let's get on to our league, Budge. We've got the Premiership fixtures coming up, some very good fixtures. You and Steve touched on a few there. We've got the screen up there. We're going to start with the Arsenal screen.
I've got a fancy Arsenal to beat Burnley, Paul.
3-10?
You can't take that. Also, lunchtime kickoff.
Will they park the bus?
Well, Burnley will try.
Put the 2 boys up front.
Set piece, try and score from that. But Arsenal always beat Burnley. I think they've lost the last 10 times they've played Burnley.
Yeah, every time
Arsenal at home,
Spurs
Paul,
play them, it's a nightmare. For these 2 big lads up front, the centre halves come up, they play these guys and they play on the break. If you've got a team that plays well, the opposition park the bus and play on the break.
Well, I just think that they won't get out. They'll try and sling it long, and Arsenal, the 2 boys up front.
So you're strong, Arsenal, eh?
Yeah, I think so. 3-10, Paul. It's not a great bet, but
it's a win.
You've got to fancy them to win. Yeah. Now, Aston Villa, Bournemouth, Paul. This should be a good game. I was disappointed with Bournemouth last week not beating Sheffield United.
They looked home.
But Aston Villa played well against Spurs until
first half.
Eriksen came on. I think there's goals in this game. This is a crucial game.
Who would you tip? A draw?
I think a draw is a crucial game for Aston Villa. After last week, the High playing at the new White Hart Lane, big crowd, but Burnley a good counter-attacking team. Those boys up front can catch.
Pace.
They got pace.
There's a lot of speed. There's trouble. A lot of good sides. Bournemouth.
Yeah, away from home, their recent form is poor, but this is a big game for Villa and
very big
draw
game
for me.
Okay, Brighton. Great start.
There's always one shot. Diabolical.
Start.
The 2 centre halves. I can't believe Diop played at the back. I can't believe United offered 50 million for him. He looked terrible. But Man City can dissect anybody, Paul. I think I just got a funny feeling that this is another draw.
If Brighton win again, they're just about top of the log.
Well, they beat. A good result, 3-0 for Graham Potter.
Yeah.
So, but this will be a tighter game than normal. They both won't want to get beat, especially West Ham.
Now, Everton thought, we've got to win this game, and they didn't come away with the win. And then Watford, who thought they'd win, got beat 3-0.
Yeah, well...
What do you think?
I like Everton, Paul. Their last 4 home games have beat Man United, Arsenal, Chelsea and Burnley. At home at Goodison, they don't get beat, Paul.
Okay.
I think 7-10 is a good thing. Disappointed in Watford.
Yeah.
But Everton at Goodison, Paul, a match for anybody.
Norwich City.
I think there's goals in this. You know, I know it was a freebie, Norwich going to Anfield against Liverpool, the way they played.
First off, they knocked the
They
ball
really
about.
do. I like
They
that
got some
Timmy Pookie up front. The Finnish
and their
guy.
wingers.
Yeah, that youngster right back too. They're players.
They're players, Norwich.
You know, but like Aston Villa, this is the big game. Newcastle, they were a little bit unlucky. I only watched the game in midweek, but they fought hard. They had a couple of chances. Of the two teams, Paul, I like Newcastle to cause an upset, but I think goals is a good thing.
I love the way Norwich get forward. They get forward quickly. That the new boy Fark, you know, the German man, he's got them. He said, I'm not changing my philosophy. No. And he went to Liverpool, and the first 20 minutes thought, hang on, the game's on. Then he had an own goal against him. Then the ball bubbled and landed at Salah's feet, and they were 2-0 down.
I think there's goals in this, Paul.
Goals. So you're going to lean to Newcastle?
Newcastle, the two teams. Draw Newcastle for me, Paul.
Okay, right. Let's move on to the next film. What got? What's one?
Well, you've got to fancy Liverpool. You know, Southampton. They were disappointed since they saved relegation. I think they've lost every game bar one. Yeah, they've been terrible, losing 3-0 at Burnley.
Who's in charge then?
Austrian. Austrian, Hassan Huttel. But at home they'll have a go. They always have a go at home, Paul. Only lost one of the last 6 at home, but that was to Liverpool. But you've got to fancy Liverpool.
You've got to fancy Liverpool, but I wouldn't be taking 4-10, but you've got to fancy them.
But,
Man City, Spurs, you and Steve have discussed it. Spurs have to raise their game. You know, last year when they played, I was in Verona and I watched the game. We got beat 1-0 at Wembley, and that had a show.
That was
at
a terrible. The boy missed a great chance.
Lamela, the ball bubbled when you're going to equalise late. So we need to, if we get a draw, we'll be happy. But Man City have raised the bar.
Yeah, you know, the Champions League when they got knocked out by Spurs, on their memory, I think you're in trouble, Paul. I think you'll score, but
we have beaten them.
But you'll score, but I think you're in trouble.
Yeah, I think it's a hard one.
Yeah.
Sheffield United, Crystal Palace.
Well, they got the point. You know, like Aston Villa and Norwich, the other two promoted teams, they're going to have to go for it. And if ever there's a team you don't want to fly out, Crystal Palace. I fancy Palace, Paul. 2-1 in my bets.
What about Billy Sharp?
Billy Sharp, well, he's going to have to be sharp. Yeah. You know, once Sahar came off the bench and he came on for our man, offside Benteke, they should have won.
Yeah.
You know, two games.
Sahar's a very good player.
Disappointed that apparently they had a truce in midweek. All the players sat down, and obviously he was the focal point. He wanted to go, maybe in January. But I fancy Crystal Palace, Paul, 2-1.
Just Chelsea 8-10.
Yeah. The way I've been impressed with him.
I've been impressed with him. He's not going to lose the game.
At home. You know, I like Frank Lampard, liked him as a player, he gave his all. And at Derby he did a good job. I just like, he's taken the pressure.
Pedro's playing so well. And Kante and Pedro and that new boy, they look good.
Yeah, they did look good. This is a game, you know, can they keep it tight at the back? Because, you know, Vardy will be sniffing on the outside. But
Jacob Zuma is going to have to have his wits about him at the back.
I think there'll be goals in that, but I fancy Chelsea.
Me too. Wolves, Man United.
Yeah, this is our Jonah team. The 3 games last year, we drew at Old Trafford. They beat us in the cup and they murdered us in the league. I just like what I saw from United. We looked more enthusiastic. We looked a lot fitter.
I watched the game. I thought the other team were way better initially, way better on top, and then it flattered them.
Yeah.
Once
the second goal
I don't know how good they are.
No,
I don't know how good they are.
You know, I'm not sold on Lingard and Pereira in the midfield. We just give the ball away too often. And against this team, not a Portuguese internationals, I think it's a draw, Paul. But any results are good results.
You need a bit of luck there. Okay, Championship, bud.
Yeah, well, you know, I remember I was...
Huddersfield Fulham. Are we going Fulham?
I think Huddersfield won 3 games last year. And Fulham at home was one of them. I remember watching. It was a terrible game. Fulham was shocking. I fancy Fulham 15-10. If ever they're going to have if they're going to be automatic.
There's disarray at Huddersfield.
You know, Scott Parker done a good job. He's bought Harry Arte, his brother-in-law, and he's bought a few players in.
Is that his brother-in-law?
Yeah.
Has he still got Mitrovic?
Yes, still got his highest paid player in the Championship. It's just at the back that they're a bit dodgy. Yeah. But if the writing's on the wall at Huddersfield, 15-10 Fulham, Paul, inviting price.
Yeah. Okay, Barnsley, Charlton,
both
Athletic.
2 teams, these are the teams that got promoted. You know, Charlton a second, but Barnsley haven't lost at home, I think it's 18 months.
Wow.
Yeah, Barnsley win and draw for me there, Paul.
Okay, Blackburn Rovers against
Middlesbrough.
I fancy
Blackburn 14-10. They've lost both league games, but Middlesbrough have been terrible. They got beat by Brentford at home.
Why have they gone backward?
Well, Jonathan Woodgate, you know, the old Leeds centre half, he's in charge. Apparently they're having a full go. I think there'll be goals in that, but Blackburn in a draw for me there, Paul.
Brentford, Hull City.
Well, I fancy Brentford. Hull City can't defend, but they've got that little guy you like up front that Spurs wanted to sign him.
Yeah,
good young player. Likewise, 6-10 Brentford for me, Paul. But I think there'll be a lot of goals in this game.
Bristol City, QPR.
Yeah, I fancy Bristol City. They played in the League Cup in midweek. I think went to penalties. Bristol City won. They've had 2 hard games, Bristol City. They got beat by Leeds at home, and they went to Birmingham away, who hard to beat at St Andrews. QPR, 14 new signings.
Is the Wally still there?
No, Mark Warburton was at Brentford, then went to Rangers. He's taken over. Even money Bristol for me.
Luton Town, didn't they get promoted?
They got promoted, yeah. They got beat injury time by Cardiff last week. Scored a lot of goals.
Is he still in charge, the Cardiff boy?
No, Neil Warnock, yeah.
Neil Warnock, still going strong.
Yeah, he's at Cardiff, Neil Warnock. But it's Graham Jones is at Luton. I don't know if it's his cousin Nathan Jones. He went to Stoke. I think there'll be goals in there.
Tom Jones?
No. All the Jones boy, yeah. Tom Jones, yeah. West Brom for me,
It's not
Paul.
unusual to get Luton to win. Yeah.
West Brom for me there.
Okay, West Brom it is. Millwall, the Den,
Millwall going
Sheffield
well.
Wednesday.
They cost us money last week when they drew at West Brom. They beat them in the League Cup as well, Millwall. They won at West Brom. Millwall at home, hard to beat. But Sheffield Wednesday, top of the league. But Millwall in a draw for me there.
Okay. Notts Forest, they got the draw against Leeds.
Yeah, played well against Leeds. You've got to fancy them, but it's just that every time I go for them, they let me down. And ironically, Birmingham have got a better record away from home than at home.
Sure.
But win and draw Forest for me there, Paul.
Stoke City, Derby County.
Well, 2 teams with high expectations. Stoke have started off badly. They've lost both their games.
They
beat Wigan in League Cup. I like Derby. Derby away, win and draw for me there, Paul. Philip Cocu.
Stoke City are 23rd in the log.
Yeah, they've lost them both. Derby 1-1, drew 1. Yeah.
Swansea, Preston North End, your beloved.
We got back to winning ways. Apparently, we murdered Wigan 3-0. Swansea, a funny team. They've lost it. Daniel Jones come to United, and Ollie McBurney, they sold him to Sheffield United. Hopefully we can get a draw, but Swansea's home record
Preston
is good.
sell a lot, eh?
No option, Paul.
No money.
No money.
No money.
Even though we've got a billionaire that owns the club. But,
he's got the money.
He's got the money. But Swansea in a draw for me.
Wigan, Leeds?
I like Leeds.
Me too, I like Leeds.
9 to 10.
Leeds a good bet. And then
Reading, I like Cardiff City. Reading has struggled. They've sold a lot of players. Cardiff, Neil Walker signed a German up front. I fancy them on Sunday, 12 to 10. Just a lunchtime kickoff, but I like Cardiff City.
Just touching on Cardiff City, I watched they had the inquest into the death of their footballer, Salah. I think carbon monoxide poisoning. Yeah. They said there was so much in his system, he could have died early. And then they played the app, his message on his iPhone to his mates how scared he was in the aeroplane. This thing's going to fall apart and all that. Terrible, very sad.
Oh, very sad. And you saw the plane. Disgraceful.
Yeah, disgraceful. They've never found the pilot, eh? Because they can't do the tests on him. Okay, let's have a look at PSL. Some interesting results, Budge. Very interesting, because I watched Supersport Pirates.
Yeah, I watched it too, Boy Krobler. The first goal was lucky, terrible defending. He just hoofed it, knocked it back. But, Paul, I've watched Supersport, and they didn't deserve to lose to Sundowns 2-0.
Yeah.
And, obviously they won easy last night. But
3-0 to Pirates. That's a big setback for Pirates.
Yeah, definitely.
Chipper's last gasp draw against Sundowns.
Yeah, well, I
good
thought
result.
It was all over. Only when I woke up this morning I saw 1-1. I didn't believe it. But hard to beat in Port Elizabeth.
And I see the Student beat Polokwane.
Yeah, 1-0 tight game. They used to score plenty of goals, Polokwane. This year, 1-0, 1-0.
But who's going to get the Bafana job?
Well, it depends who wants it. Depends how much money's on the job.
What about our boy at Wits?
Well, I don't think Gavin. Gavin apparently is on a lot of money at Wits. So why would he leave there? Good job, good setup to go to Bafana.
Right, we've got the Mtn Quarterfinals, Budge. I need your opinions on these.
Well,
Cape Town City at home.
They're playing at Newlands, the rugby stadium. You know, Cape Town City were lucky against Stellenbosch last week. They won 1-0, but Steve Barker's team should equalise at injury time. Polokwane, you never know away from home, but it's got to be Cape Town City. For
I would have thought so. Okay, Orlando Pirates have to bounce back.
Orlando Pirates, but you know, Highlands, I watched them against Maritzburg last Friday and against Chiefs the week before, well organised. Yeah. This will be the last 3 times they've played ended in a draw, but you'd expect Pirates to go through, especially after a midweek collapse like that.
Sundowns, Bloem.
You know, Bloem, I got money with them last week. They beat Arrows 5-0. They were unlucky when they lost to Pirates in the league match. Hard to go against Sundowns and Pretoria.
Sundowns, good side.
Good side.
And then Budge, Bidvest.
Tight game. You know, I like Supersport, Paul.
Do you, eh?
Yeah, I like them. I think they're a danger to win the competition. You know, they're well organised and good players.
Okay, right. Let's go have a look at budget. Your selections here.
Yeah.
Tell me about these
Premiership and knockout games. I've banked Arsenal to beat Burnley. I've gone the field in the Cape Town City Polokwane game. I've gone the field Bidvest Supersport, which has been played on Sunday. I've banked Everton to beat Watford. And I've taken a chance because we can spend 200. I've gone Pirates win and draw against Highlands, and to keep you happy, I've thrown the draw in Man City, Tottenham.
Great move. Great move. Okay, your next one.
Second soccer six. I've gone the field with the Aston Villa Bournemouth. I've gone Brighton the field against West Ham. I've banked Everton to beat Watford. I've gone the field in the Norwich Newcastle game. Banked Liverpool to win at Southampton, and I've banked Man City to beat Tottenham
on the last
162.
One. Okay, well done. Let's go to 10.
On the 10, I've banked Arsenal to beat Burnley. I've gone Cape Town City win and draw at home against Polokwane. I've sided with Supersport United win and draw at Wits. I've gone the field in the Aston Villa Bournemouth and Brighton versus West Ham fixtures. To our second page, I've banked Everton to beat Watford. I've gone the field in the Norwich Newcastle game, and I've ended up with 3 bankers. Liverpool to beat Southampton, Orlando Pirates to beat Highlands, and Man City to beat Tottenham 216.
Okay, then there's the big one.
On the soccer 13, I've banked Man City to beat Tottenham, Liverpool to win at Southampton. I've gone the field between Aston Villa Bournemouth. I've banked Everton to beat Watford. I've gone West Ham win and draw at Brighton. Likewise, Newcastle win and draw at Norwich. I've banked Hammarby to beat GIF Sundsvall. Our second page, I've gone Barnsley win and draw at home against Charlton. I've gone Blackburn to get a good result at home against Middlesbrough. I've banked Bristol City to beat QPR. I've gone Millwall win and draw at home against Sheffield Wednesday. I've gone Nottingham Forest win and draw at home against Birmingham City. And I've banked Leeds United to win at Wigan at 326.
All right, now the best part, Budgie's best bets.
Premiership quad. Paul, I've gone Crystal Palace to beat Sheffield United. I've gone Everton to beat Watford. And I've gone over 2.5 goals in the Aston Villa Bournemouth and Norwich City Newcastle United matches, 3,400 to 200.
Championship quartet.
Championship quartet. I've gone Bristol City to beat QPR. I've gone Cardiff City to win at Reading. I've gone Leeds United to win at Wigan Athletic, and I've gone over 2.5 goals in the Luton Town West Brom match, 2,800 to 200.
MTN double.
The MTN 8, yeah, I've gone, Paul, there was all mix and match of the outright odds. That's why I never brought it. But I took the double. I was going to go over 2.5 goals Supersport and Bloemfontein Celtic, but because over 1.5 goals inflated the odds to 20 to 1, I've gone over 1.5 goals Mamelodi Sundowns and Bloem Celtic. I'm taking a chance Supersport to win the trophy.
Okay.
I like what I saw, Paul. 4,100 to 200. Both teams to score sides are Aston Villa Bournemouth, Man City Tottenham, Norwich Newcastle, Southampton Liverpool, and Luton West Brom.
Okay, the Spanish omelette.
Yep, which is the first week this week. I've gone Leganés to beat Osasuna at home. I've gone Villarreal to beat Granada and over 2.5 total goals. I've gone over 2.5 goals in the Athletic Bilbao Barcelona game, and I've gone both teams to score in the Alaves Levante clash, 3,000 to 200.
The Collis
King 6 on Exeter. I've gone Arsenal to beat Burnley. I've gone Everton to beat Watford. I've gone Brentford to beat Hull City. Leeds United to win at Wigan. And I've gone Atletico Madrid to beat Getafe and Villarreal to beat Granada, 3,100 to 200.
Excellent, excellent. All right, Budge, your best bets. This is one of your strengths, really.
Yeah, Paul, I'm going with Leeds United. They're 9.5 to 10 I saw this morning. I think they're a better team because teams have to attack them when they're away from home.
Yeah.
When they play Ellerton Road, they just park the bus. So 9.5 to 10 Leeds United is my main bet.
And your value bet?
I like Crystal Palace, Paul.
Yeah.
You know, 2 to 1, I think that's a big price. Yeah, I looked at 1 or 2 others, but 2 to 1 Palace.
They're playing against a promoted
They're playing Sheffield United away from home. They keep it tight. And I was impressed, especially second half against Everton.
Yeah.
They should have won easy. So
Easily.
2 to 1's my play there, Paul.
All right, Budge, that's excellent. Okay, so that's all the news for the time being. Don't forget, last one standing. Budgie's sending out SMSs all the time. Make sure you get hold of him. Get your bets in. He will keep us up to date on who's on what team. It starts this week, and there'll be a lot of fun. That's about it, Budge.
Yep.
All right, until next time, stay on side.